Welcome to the Ladder 54 Operations course. This course is intended to present basic apparatus operations for Ladder 54 for the Western Taney County Fire Protection District. During this course, we will cover several course objectives. They include covering tools and equipment and their locations on the apparatus, basic vehicle operations, basic ladder operations, including the assembly of the waterway, as well as the Stokes basket operations for the ladder. We'll cover basic pump and generator operations, and we will also talk briefly about basic vehicle positioning considerations as it relates to arriving on scene and ladder operations for an emergency scene. We will begin in Section 1, covering the tools and equipment and their locations on the apparatus. As we cover equipment and their locations on the apparatus, please note that we will begin behind the apparatus cab on the driver's side, and we will be moving counterclockwise around the apparatus and finish in the rear of the apparatus cab. Compartment 1 on the apparatus contains what we call one of three PLCs. Essentially, these are computers that operate the aerial device, the outriggers, and the other aspects of ladder operations. This really is not a compartment that requires inspection other than the fact that on the PLC itself there is an access door that should be latched and secured, and that the compartment should be verified to make sure there's no standing water or heavy accumulations of dust in the compartment. Compartment 2 is the pump operator's compartment. It has the various controls for the fire pump, has various fittings and appliances, sets of spanner wrenches, hydrant wrenches, as well as a 25-foot section of 3-inch fill hose. All of the pump operations, including the pressure governor, primer, intakes, and discharges for the driver's side of the pump, are also located in this compartment. Compartment 3 is the cascade compartment. Including the cascade system, it also has several other tools and equipment that's carried in this compartment. It includes 3 sections of forestry hose, 1 short 5-inch hose, a roll of 1 3/4 hose, all of the adapters and hoses for the cascade system, 2 wheel chocks, and 10 traffic cones. You'll also notice on the bottom slide-out tray there are 2 brackets to be able to hold SCBA bottles while they're being refilled. Compartment 4 carries 1 spare SCBA cylinder. This will be on the driver's side in front of the rear duals. Compartment 5 is located on the driver's side over the front rear axle. It includes 3 truckman's belts and 1 5-pound ABC fire extinguisher. Compartments 6 and 7 carry 2 more spare SCBA bottles. Compartment 8, which is located on the driver's side over the rear axle, includes an A-wet extinguisher and 3 spare SCBA cylinders. Compartment 9 is the saw compartment. It includes a chainsaw, a circular saw, fuel for the saw, extra circular saw blades, and a sawzall all within the compartment. When you use equipment out of Compartment 9, be sure to pay special attention to how the spare equipment was stored, including the extra saw blades for the circular saw, as well as the sawzall itself. Make sure that when you are done with this equipment that they're returned to their proper locations and secured in the brackets provided. Compartment 10 is the positive pressure fan compartment. Inside this compartment you will find both the positive pressure fan as well as the fan fuel. Be sure to remove the fuel can and set it on the ground before removing the saw so that way you don't tip over the fuel can. As you approach the left rear corner of the apparatus, you will find the left outrigger control panel. During the inspection, you will make sure that the joystick moves freely in all directions and that all buttons on the panel are serviceable and in good condition. For operation of the left outriggers, you will move the joystick to its far left position and hold. When you do this, the engine RPMs will increase, both outriggers will move out and down, and will lock. Once this is done, the engine RPMs will return to idle. At this point, you can release the joystick back to its centered position. You should look at both the red and green indicator buttons at the top of the panel to verify that both are illuminated. This means that the ladder is okay to raise. The last thing you'll do in this position is rotate the basket to its up position. To do this, you have two yellow buttons on the far left side of the control panel. You will push the up position. When you push the up button, you will hear beeping for several minutes and you will be able to observe the ladder rotating the basket up to its up position. Once it's in its correct position, the beeping will stop and you can release the button. Compartment 11 is located on the rear of the apparatus directly underneath the turntable. It carries several key pieces of equipment for the ladder operation. These include 4 jack boxes that are used to overcome differences in elevation or angle on one side of the truck or the other, ice cleats that are to be put on the outrigger feet during times of inclement weather including snow or ice, a section of waterway hose that connects between the rear of the apparatus and the ladder waterway pipe, a spare waterway adapter, and 2 100-foot sections of rope that are to be used to help stabilize the ladder basket during times of high winds. Also from the rear of the apparatus is where the hose loads on the apparatus will be deployed. There is 900 feet of 5-inch that deploys from a tunnel on the right-hand side of the apparatus near the curb, and there is also 400 feet of 2.5-inch hose with a smoothbore nozzle pre-connected to one end. The idea of the 2.5-inch hose is that this would be your 2.5-inch attack line should you need it off of the apparatus. You will simply pull the nozzle and the amount of hose needed to be able to deploy your line. You will break a connection from the hose bed and attach it to the pump panel for Firestream operations. On the right rear corner of the apparatus is another outrigger control panel. This panel is very similar to the one on the left in operation and also by appearance. You can control the ladder basket from this position. However, the basket should already have been deployed on the left control panel. On this side of the apparatus, you're going to use the joystick, move it to its far right position and hold. Again, the engine RPMs will increase, the outriggers will deploy out and down, and when the truck has set itself and the computer okays everything, the engine RPMs will return to idle. When this happens, you can release the joystick. On this slide, you will notice a diagram that explains the various functions of the control panel for the outriggers. Please take a few moments to look at the various functions and their descriptions on this slide. We will discuss the functions more in detail in Section 3. Also, when you begin the practical portion of this course, you will be given a handout that again will have this and many other diagrams from the operator's manual for your reference. The last panel that we'll talk about at the rear of the apparatus is the ladder rack control panel. To operate the ladder rack control panel, simply turn on the power button, and when you do, a green ready light should be illuminated. To lower the ladder rack, simply push down on the toggle switch and hold in that position until the ladder rack is completely lowered. Ensure that once you're done with the ladder rack that you turn the power button off so that way we don't damage the electric motor that drives the rack. To raise the ladder back to its up position, once again turn on the power button, ensure that you have a green ready light, Move the toggle switch to its up position, hold in that position until the ladder rack returns to its up position, and then turn the power switch back off. Compartment 12 holds a wet-dry vacuum and may hold some additional equipment in the future. Compartment 13 holds several key items, including 2 roof kit boxes, the flue fire box, and a toolbox that holds miscellaneous tools and equipment. Compartment 14 is located over the wheel well on the passenger side of the apparatus and carries the majority of our hand tools and equipment. It includes D-ring closet hooks, trash hooks, flathead axes, Halligan bars, pike poles, bolt cutters, and pick head axes. Care should be used when opening and closing the compartment to make sure that you pull out straight and that you return the slide-out tray into the apparatus straight so that the tray is not put into a bind. Compartment 15 is considered the electrical compartment, primarily because there is a large cord reel with an electrical junction box located in this compartment. There is also an electric smoke ejector that's located in this compartment to use when we're needing to eject smoke out of a building. In compartment 16, you will find several lighting tools that we can use for scene lighting. These include 2 tripod lights, 2 Circle D lights, and 5 extension cords of various lengths. Compartment 17 is the passenger side of the pump compartment. In addition to the intakes and discharges for this side of the pump, you will also notice that there are 2 high-rise packs, the cab raise control to be able to raise and lower the apparatus cab, as well as a breaker box for the generator, scene lighting, and any outlets located on the exterior of the apparatus. In the rear of the apparatus cab, there are several pieces of equipment that we need to cover. In addition to the jump seat air packs, there are 2 air packs that are located on the back wall of the apparatus. Above these air packs is a bank of 6 spare flashlight batteries for the air packs. On the engine hump in the center of the cab is a medical bag and a RIT bag stored in a metal box, and also in the rear on the floor of the apparatus cab is a metal box that contains drinking water. On the passenger side of the turntable, you will also notice a large metal box that contains several pieces of rescue equipment. In this box includes a Stokes basket, heavy lifting equipment including straps to allow us to lift large objects with the apparatus ladder, and rope rescue equipment. We will cover how to use the Stokes basket and the Stokes basket frame later in this program. On the driver's side of the apparatus cab near the tip of the ladder is an equipment box that holds various pieces of equipment for the ladder basket. This includes pieces of equipment to assemble the basket waterway, as well as a basket protection device and an edge roller to protect rope during rescue operations. The procedure for assembling these various systems and pieces of equipment will be covered later in the program. When we talk about ladders for the apparatus, there are several different ladders we must cover. First, the main ladder, which is 100 feet in length, is mounted to the apparatus by a turntable and has a detachable basket on the tip. Off of the main ladder, there is a 20-foot straight ladder that is housed in the fly section of the main ladder that can be used for roof operations. There is also on the driver's side of the bed section a 12-foot combination ladder that's stored in a specific rack. On the ladder rack, which can be deployed from the passenger side of the apparatus cab, is housed a 35-foot extension ladder, a 16-foot roof ladder, 2 pike poles, an attic ladder, and 2 squeegees. So as we complete this section, it's important to remember that all equipment should be checked thoroughly during truck checks and after each use. You need to be familiar with each equipment's location, as well as how to use that equipment when it's needed. Be sure that all equipment is ready for the next alarm, and if you find any problems with any of the equipment we've talked about in this section, be sure to report it to the maintenance division for repair.